Any DLC expansion teases?
Let's discuss the ginormous event that Amplitude Studios are hosting, get this, next month.
Stay tuned for Amplified next January. You know, there'll be announcements and things like that.
The biggest news we have ever received to date by important. So, the studio behind Humankind is called Amplitude Studios, for those who don't know. And every year they run an event, which historically has been based around the Endless universe from their previous games in the Endless Legends series. Up until last year, where they renamed the event Amplified, because Humankind had been announced and they no longer were just producing games within the Endless universe. There's your backstory. Now, every year, the event happens at the same time, around the 20th of January to the 23rd or so. It's a big event, big heavy focus online. Of course, this year that will probably be no different. And the event itself is a massive celebration of Amplitude Studios, actually celebrating the day it was founded many years ago. Crucially though, this is their big event. Think E3, but small scale for Amplitude alone. What you need to know, actually, is probably best put from Amplitude themselves. Take a look at this clip that one of my mods, Huck, shout out to you, Huck, for all of the work that you do, managed to dig up during a conversation with the wonderful people at Amplitude during one of their recent live streams.
So we appreciate awesome content creators. So tell Jumbo we love him. 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 Tell Jumbo we love him.
No, sorry, not that one. Whoops. Love you too. This one is really where the juicy details are.
Stay tuned for Amplified next January. Every January we do an event called Amplified, and this year we'll have 3 specific days where we'll do an Amplitude Day, we'll do a Humankind Day, and then we'll do an Endless Universe Day, and then the weekend there'll be some community type things going on. But basically it's going to be like a kind of a 3-day festival of streaming. There'll be like lots of streams going on in the morning, in the afternoon. Guests will have cool, unique things going on. You know, there'll be announcements and things like that.
And light will be shown on the dark places.
There you go, folks. I love that. Light will be shone on the dark places. Sounds like we've got a lot to look forward to. And actually, there's more detail to unpack. But before I do, really quickly, just want to let you know, I'm doing a Humankind giveaway on Twitter as part of the holiday season. I'm giving 5, that's right, not 1, not 2, 5 copies of Humankind Steam, the full version to give away. All you gotta do is like and retweet. And at the moment, as of recording this, there have been, at the most, around 600 entries. Giving 5 copies away, got a roughly 1 in 100 chance of getting one, especially considering even just at a first glance, so many people have failed to enter properly. I'd say your odds are even better than that. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the topic of this video. Amplified, the event, and Humankind's future. And it's a future that looks pretty bright. If we cast our eyes back to the event that happened at the start of this year, indeed the 10th anniversary event actually that happened in January of 2021, not to be confused with the topic of the video, the event that's happening next month, January of 2022. My god, I can't believe it. Anyway, in last year's one, there was a Humankind Day. But of course, we can't glean too much into it for a couple of reasons, but the key one is that at that Humankind Day, the game wasn't out. So we should expect the nature of this one to be very different, which is why it's also useful for us to look at Endless Legends and what Amplitude did with that, because that was a pre-existing title that they could build upon. So take a look at this post that I dug up from earlier this year. It's a little bit hard to read, so if you want to read it, you can pause and read it here, but otherwise, let me talk you through the key changes and I'll swoosh it off the screen. The key things to note are, firstly, for their existing franchises, for the games that were already out, they first off discounted them all by 75%. It's important to note that they'd been out for a few years at this point, though, so just do bear that in mind. Also, they were free to play for the entire weekend. Endless Space 2, Endless Legend, and Dungeon of the Endless, indeed the entire Endless universe, was free to play. What else happened? Well, Endless Definitive Editions were also released for 2 of those games I just mentioned, receiving 12 new quests, new tales, events, so on and so forth within the games. In a nutshell, they were discounted, they were made free to play for the weekend as a promotional event, and, crucially, they had new content added. What did they do to Humankind, though? That's, of course, what you're wondering. As I said before, it wasn't released, so kind of hard, probably, to run this kind of event for a game that's not out. However, what they did do was run a stream with Twitch drops enabled, one of the first time that we were able to collect characters from streamers and so on and so forth. Also, they dropped some promotional information about the game, about the avatar system, essentially, and crucially, they gave away some freebies, like a free game, like some artwork, and some wallpapers. In a nutshell, I think if we look back at last year's event, it was very clearly an event focused around massive sale, massive promotion, really strong outreach, pushing out those games free to play, and finally, introducing Humankind, showing it off, giving some stuff away. What should we expect from this year? The honest answer is, I have no clue. I didn't actually, full disclosure, even really quite realize that this was a thing until my mod, Huck, had pointed it out to me. So thank you for that. I did, however, participate in it last year because I got the stuff. I just mustn't have quite realized that I was doing it, if you know what I mean. You know, I was just sort of participating in this thing, I saw the sale come up, didn't quite realize the magnitude of it and just how important Amplified 2022 would be on my release calendar. And I think that's probably the largest takeaway. Now, towards the end of this video here, as we move into the last section, I want to do two things. Firstly, slight shameless self-promotion. And secondly, more importantly, and please do stick around for it, what do we actually expect to hear specifically? We're going to get into the nitty-gritty detail. First and foremost, though, as I say, at the moment, if you're watching this on release day, it is stream week for me. I'm streaming every day this week on YouTube and Twitch to celebrate the fact that I'm now live streaming across both platforms. So you're welcome to come and join me. I would love to have your company for the final 2 days. And also, another slightly shameless self-promotion, we've got a community multiplayer event coming up in Humankind. And I will be doing a 12-hour, a record for me, actually twice over. My previous record isn't even half that. A 12-hour live stream currently pegged for somewhere around Thursday the 16th of December, maybe Friday the 17th. Also going to be doing a charity stream a few days after that, and then finishing up for the year with a Christmas party stream before Christmas. Anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about the specific DLC details. And I think that they clearly haven't given away a lot yet. We've really just had a mention in a live stream and some information from previous events, specifically last year's. So, would it be fair to jump to conclusions? Absolutely not. Do I have any inside information? Sadly, absolutely not. However, I think one thing is for certain, we should expect some announcements and for some lightness to be shone on dark places. No, but seriously, it looks and sounds from what they talked about on stream. I showed you the highlights. There was a little bit of other conversation around it as well that I cut out, various low points. But in a nutshell, the impression I got was that this would be a bigger event than before. An online, largely, event, I imagine, given the current status of the world and the fact that it seems to be getting a little bit harder than easier for many people out there. But also, I just think it makes sense. Before they mentioned the announcements, and when they had that little clip where they mentioned me, shout out to you, Amplitude, I love you back. They also said something along the lines of, we want to be bringing in more community, we want to engage with content creators and the broader community at large. And I think they've actually proven to do a very good job at that so far. In fact, in my Humankind report card that I'm sort of working on and thinking about to reflect on the year that's been, I have to give them pretty good credit. I've heard many stories of people, problems big and small, reaching out, getting feedback and seeing results. And also they're incredibly responsive across the board, I think. So shout out and love to you, Amplitude Studios. I look forward to hearing more about the Amplified event over the next few weeks. I'll be sure to share the details with you when I do, and I'll see you then. Take care and bye-bye. And lastly, just thanks so much to Amplitude for rating me on stream and to everybody for tuning in on Twitch and on YouTube. It's been a blast. We're going to keep it going.